Good evening, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, I was up so early today compared to when I have been waking up. I ended up getting up at about 8 o'clock, I think, somewhere around there. Like 8:30, I don't know, something like that. But I swear, guys, it takes one day for me to get back into an actual like good sleeping habit, or I guess it just takes one day for me to change my sleeping routine slash habit or whatever. Like for me, it's not like, oh, you know, like during the week, you know, like for me, I can't go to bed at, you know, like 10 o'clock, wake up at like 7 in the morning on the weekdays, and then on the weekends get up, you know, stay up until midnight and get up at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, something like that, you know, be able to sleep in and then expect to change and, you know, like do something different. It sort of is like I have to, you know, like just one day that I wind up either, you know, like sleeping in, you know, like staying up late and sleeping in, or one day if I wind up, you know, going to bed early and waking up early, then all of a sudden I've completely, like I said, my sleeping patterns, habits, whatever, will do like a complete 180. I'm not like the type of person that needs to like build up to like, you know, however I want to sort of change that, like, oh, now I just work towards going to bed an hour earlier or whatever. It's like I have to have a dramatic change for all of a sudden, and then my body's just like, oh, you know, like we're gonna get up at this time now. So that's sort of what happened today. I ended up, Jack actually, he left for school later because on Mondays they have like late starts. Normally though, when he wakes up in the morning, he takes the dogs out first thing. So he came in here and was like, Kayla, I'm taking the dogs out, you know, like, and I'm gonna leave for school and all that. And I was like, okay, you know, and so I pretty much from that point on, when he left, like I said, I think it was around 8 o'clock, maybe 8:30 or something. But when he said that, I ended up waking up and I couldn't fall back asleep. So I was like, this is perfect. That means that I can stay up. You know, because normally like I'll hear him and I'll be like, okay, yeah, and then I'll just fall back asleep. I like stayed awake the whole time and I was like, wow, okay. It took me maybe about like a half an hour or so, because like I said, I think I was maybe up at 8 o'clock and then I didn't get out of bed until like 8:30. I was up at 8:30 and got out of bed at 9 o'clock. I don't actually really remember, but like I said, I was somewhere in between there. And so like I said, I was actually up early today, but because I had to wake up so early yesterday, because I told you we tried to go to the grocery stores really early, and also too we could because my mom wasn't working, or she worked a different shift on Saturday, so on Sunday she was able to like she didn't have to work overnight, because normally she gets home at like 8:30, something like that, depends. And so because of that, normally we can't leave to go to the grocery stores until at least she gets home on Sunday mornings. But since she was home already, we were able to go early in the morning, and I think we left by like 8 o'clock or something. So like, you know, it wasn't actually that much earlier, but I think I actually got up at 7:30 yesterday morning. And so, but I went to bed pretty late, so I was pretty exhausted. And so then last night I ended up going to bed around midnight-ish, maybe about 1 o'clock. But like I said, I ended up waking up at about 8 o'clock, you know, around that time this morning, which was awesome. So today though, because I was up early, I didn't have a ton of energy though, because I was kind of tired and sort of just getting like used to, like, you know, again, being up this early. Also too, I feel like because even though I was going to bed late and like waking up late, I still feel like I was getting like still like the normal sort of amount of sleep. But some nights what would happen was I would be tired, like, you know, say sort of what happened yesterday. I went to bed still really late, I woke up really early, I only got a few hours of sleep yesterday. Normally the following day I wind up going to bed somewhat earlier and I wind up sleeping in super late. So I will wind up with like, instead of, you know, normal 8 hours of sleep you're supposed to get, I'll get like 10, 11 hours of sleep, which is ridiculous. And so but it's like me catching up from the sleep where the night before I only got like 4 hours. So like that is sometimes how, like I said, you know, on the weekends I wind up sometimes staying up late, and like I said, we normally have to go to the grocery stores or whatever we're going, so I'll still get up really early. So it totally throws me off. And then like I said, normally the days after I'm actually in a really worse sleeping pattern and sleeping in really, really late. But today, like I said, I sort of broke that, and so I'm hoping that that means I'm going to bed early, very early tonight too. So that's good, and that means that hopefully I will get up early tomorrow, and then we can just keep on a roll with this, because that would be really awesome. Because I don't like it, especially right now because of the time change and everything like that. It's like if I'm waking up at like 10, 11 o'clock, I only got a few hours of sunlight because literally it's dark by 5 o'clock. That's like 6 hours of sunlight. And like, you know, I can't function like that. I don't like that. So, like I said, I actually, because I was up early today, I was able to get a bunch of stuff done. So I didn't do any dishes or laundry today because I've got sort of a backlog of stuff with the laundry right now. I got people that need to take care of baskets and things like that, so I didn't really end up doing any of that. And with the dishes, honestly too, I ended up making pizza for dinner tonight, and yesterday we grilled, so I had like no dishes, and I have no dishes really again tonight except for just a couple of pizza trays, or like, you know, pizza pans. So I literally like hardly have any dishes, and I did dishes yesterday. So I'm pretty much caught up anyway. Normally too, I'm not super great about keeping up with those kind of things over the weekend, but I actually did. So it wasn't like something that like dramatically needed to be done. But normally those are my day-to-day sort of things, as always dishes and laundry. I try and tend to every single day. So I didn't do that, but I did wind up editing 3 vlogs. I didn't upload any because I only had 1 that was edited, so now I have 4 so I can upload those. And then I also ended up, I got my desk cleared off somewhat. I had a bunch of sales papers that were on there, so I actually took care of all of those. I organized stuff. I kind of got my desk somewhat clean. The problem is the things that ended up happening though over this weekend. My desk, I have little doors. They're sort of like hinge doors that like open up on the top part of the hutch of my desk. And unfortunately, when I was sick several years ago with a really horrible stomach bug, I honestly want to say it was like 2019, because I think it was the year, or maybe 2018, something like that. It was the year, like, I want to say it was the last Christmas that we ended up, no, second to last Christmas, so I think it was 2018. Second to last Christmas we ended up spending with family for the pandemic. So like I said, I think that was 2018. But then I remember there was one following year after that, and then after that, like I said, that was the pandemic. So I don't think that we got together that year. Anyways, in 2018, I think it was, I was super sick. I could not like get out of bed because it was just, I had like a stomach bug. I remember that stomach bug, it was so bad I couldn't even sit up without hurling. It was horrible. And so it only lasted though, like I think like 24 48 hours or something like that. But I remember that I didn't feel 100% for like about a week after that. It was pretty, like I said, it was just like not being able to get out of bed lasted for about a day or 2. But anyways, Jack came in my room. He ended up asking me, "Oh Kayla, do you need anything?" And I was like, "Yeah, can you get me a straw out of I keep my extra straws in my little shelf thingy. I have some of my coffee mugs that I keep in there." So I was like, "Can you get me a straw because I can't sit up to even drink anything?" And he's like, "Sure." So he went in there, not realizing the way that the door works is that if you pull it up, it locks in place so it stays up. Then you have to sort of pull it a little bit higher up than that, and then it will release back down. So he didn't know that. He just pulled it up and then it was like stuck, and he's like, "How do I close this?" And I was like, "You have to pull it back up to like push it down." So he just ended up slamming the whole thing down. The 2 screws came out of the top, and then for the longest time ever it has been hanging on with just the other like hinge. And so finally over this weekend, the thing just, I lost one of the screws to the one hinge that was still in there. Finally I saw it. It was like hanging on. I was like, that thing's gonna fall. And the problem was is that we couldn't really fix it because, well, my dad's going to fix it. I think he's gonna put what's it called, like plastic anchors in that will hopefully wind up working so that we don't have to try and screw in stuff into a different place, because then most likely the door actually won't work with all the hinge and everything. But finally the whole thing has fallen off now, and it's just sitting there, and I'm like, okay, my dad needs to fix this, but I need to move some of the stuff that's off my desk so that he can fix it. So I cleared off part of my desk so that I can move the stuff that's on the top, which is all organized and it's supposed to be there, but I just need to move it so that he can, you know, put the stuff in that he needs to, and hopefully we can get this fixed. But yeah, so Jack broke that a long time ago, and again, it was holding on, but like I knew I needed to get it fixed, but I didn't know how to go about it, because like I said, we were either gonna have to drill new holes in a different spot because the holes have been like ripped out because of the way Jack closed it on the one side. The only thing that's plausible right now is probably doing the anchors. So we have to do that, or else, like I said, we have to try and re-drill it, but we're gonna have to do it somewhere else, which means, like I said, the whole hinge system of how the whole thing works might be off, because like an off track and stuff like that, because we'd have to put them in a different spot. So the only other thing I'm thinking is, see, I don't think we could do that. Like, cause I was like, oh, well, maybe we could put in like a different, like a little piece of wood or something like that over it, and then screw the wood into the space around it, and then just screw them in through there. But I kind of don't think that that's gonna work either, just because then it will be further away from like where it is, because the desk was all, you know, like everything's already sort of like pre-drilled for you. I don't know how also too, like I said, screwing that up and then screwing the track up and everything like that is gonna wind up working. So I don't know, like I said, hopefully that will work, but yeah. So it is not, it needs to be taken care of now, because it's just sitting there half hanging off, and yeah. So I got my desk cleaned off today. I also wrote in my planner for today, which is good because that means that I'm getting one step closer to being organized with things. I also made my grocery list for Meyer pretty much already. And also to me, my mom went over our plan for Thanksgiving as well, which I have some couple things too that like I sort of need to add. And I can't, like, this week's grocery shopping trip I think will sort of be, will it? This one's the last one before Thanksgiving. So this weekend will be the last grocery shopping before Thanksgiving. So, I need to, and I don't know what's going to happen with next week too, because like Thanksgiving will be on Thursday. So normally when we go grocery shopping on Thursday, like we have to move everything like a day back or something like that. But since this weekend is the last one before Thanksgiving, now I officially know all of the stuff that's going to be on sale and what's not, and where I might need to look for things in other, you know, like at other stores if they don't have them on sale. So we can look at some of the stuff and decide like, okay, well, they don't have that on sale, so maybe we don't do this. You know, like whatever that is. So I think our Thanksgiving is pretty basic. It's pretty much everything that I had planned on anyway. It's not basic, I guess it's just sort of our normal Thanksgiving that we always do anyway. But because of that, other than I think sort of the dessert, so we always wind up doing cheesecake for Thanksgiving. We're not huge pie people. Like, I don't know. I like pie. Actually, key lime pie is probably my favorite dessert. Or one of my favorite desserts, that and lemon meringue pie. But those really aren't even like Thanksgiving pies. Like pecan pie, apple pie, pumpkin pie, those are more Thanksgiving pies, and I'm not a huge fan. Jack really does not like pies. I don't think, like I said, really anybody is that much in love with pie. But I also don't like store-bought pies, or like frozen pies, or even too like pre-canned pies. It tastes too jelly-like to me. And like like apple pie, for example, I'd rather make the filling myself. Like I don't like pre-canned filling pies, but like I said, if it's like a good bakery pie, then I kind of don't mind it that much, or like a good like homemade like grandma's apple pie kind of thing. But like I said, anything else I'm not a fan of. But that was weird though, because normally I actually hate pumpkin pie. My aunt had pumpkin pie last year for Thanksgiving, and I actually liked it for some reason. Normally I have always hated pumpkin pie, and so like I said, this year I had that, and I was like, wow, I'm actually like, maybe it's just, they say too, your taste buds change, like, you know, over time. And like I remember when I was little, I hated pumpkin pie, and like I don't really remember giving it a chance like in the last handful of years. Like if we ever had it, I always chose whatever, you know, like the other option was a lot of times. And so like I said, last year though, I did, and I was like, this is actually really good. Like, did I always really like turn my nose up at pumpkin pie and actually did really like it, you know? I don't know. And maybe too, it's just because it wasn't what I expected it to be like when I was little and stuff like that. So maybe that was why. But anyways, we normally wind up doing cheesecake for Thanksgiving, and but the thing is, I don't like cheesecake. It's weird though. Matthew's homemade cheesecake I like. It's the same thing kind of too with cheesecake. I don't like cheesecake if it's like store-bought or pre-made, or you know, anything like that, unless it's like genuine like bakery like cheesecake sort of. But when Matthew made homemade cheesecake like the last couple years, I actually really liked it. I don't know. So, anyways, though, that, like I said, we have our plan sort of, it looks like, for Thanksgiving, and mostly everything, again, was sort of stuff I was planning on. So that's why, too, like I told you guys, I've been sort of pre-buying some of the stuff that I knew we were going to be needing since sort of the beginning of November, even back in October a little bit. Some things, if I was like, oh, I saw that on sale, like I think I have the gravy mix maybe already or something like that. Also, too, we didn't really talk about what we might do for like Thanksgiving breakfast. A lot of times we'll wind up doing something for that, just because normally on like Thanksgiving we skip lunch. I feel like most people kind of do that anyway, right? Like Thanksgiving's really more lunch, like it's super early dinner or kind of late lunch. But like I said, normally for Thanksgiving we will just do like not a big breakfast, but just sort of like a nicer sort of breakfast, and then maybe we'll grill on the blacktop, like or the Blackstone this year for Thanksgiving. The blacktop. No, we're not frying eggs on our driveway. We'll probably do it on the Blackstone for Thanksgiving breakfast. That would be kind of fun, because maybe we did have the Blackstone last year, but I don't know if we wound up doing anything with that. It would be cool. Anyways, guys, I'm thinking up ideas on my own here. But like I was saying, we might wind up doing that, but like for Thanksgiving breakfast, normally we do something that's a little bit bigger, but not huge, like Christmas breakfast. But we'll do something, like I said, a little bit more. And that way too, Jack can do it, because he does pancakes on the Blackstone almost always, so he can be in charge of that. We can send my dad and Jack and the men, they can go and take care of the breakfast on the Blackstone, and then me and my mom can most likely at least start. I always start Thanksgiving dinner, honestly, though, on Wednesday. Normally the stuff that I make, and the stuff especially too this year that I'm gonna make, I'm gonna do mac and cheese and the potatoes. I can pre-make those, and then we just warm them up warm them up in the oven right before dinner normally. So I can actually pre-make those. But the problem is when we have a ton of people in the kitchen all at the same time, because our kitchen's so small, it's chaos. So that's why, like I said, it's good if we send them out and they can do breakfast, and then we can take care of whatever we need to. But I can do, like I said, mine the night before. My mom can do whatever she needs to start in the morning of Thanksgiving, and like I said, they can be outside. And then I think Matthew will probably wind up making dessert, so that's the same thing too. He can make that the night before. He doesn't have to do that on Thanksgiving Day. Like the cheesecake can be made ahead of time. So there's lots of stuff too that we can normally make ahead of time anyway that takes away, and you know, we don't have to actually do a lot of Thanksgiving like cooking on the day, because again too, when our kitchen's so small, everybody can kind of get their chance in the kitchen to do what they need to do. But the other great thing is that last year I ended up getting that gigantic roasting like electric roaster, so I can put the turkey in there, and we have the oven freed up for sort of doing any of the other sides that we need to do. So that was the best part about last year, was that we ended up getting that, and it will come in very handy again this year as well, because I think we got it last year. Maybe we got it 2 years ago. I don't remember. Anyways, because I was like, last year we ended up going over to my aunt's house, and I don't think we did turkey at all last year, because I think I passed on it because we found out that we were going to go and do it over at her house. But anyways, guys, I think I'm a little overtired. I think I get very chatty a lot of times when I'm tired, so I think that's a good time to get to bed. But I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.